Sorry, I was just scarfing down a granola bar. Hello, hello. How are you all doing today? On this fine Monday, as my dad would say. He walks in to the office every morning and he goes, "How are you on this fine whatever day it is?" Scarf? Because it's cold? It's cold here. It's not like snowing cold. But I do have like a nice thing on. What's up, cat? This freaking game loads so slowly, and I keep forgetting how slowly it loads. I should have had it on this screen while I was loading, but oh well. There we are. It are snowing. Nice. Maybe not nice. Maybe you hate snow. I live in a place where it doesn't snow. My dad and I actually, we went, we found this really cute, like craft store, and then we drove a little bit further and it was just forest. So we drove around in the forest for a while with the windows down, and it was so nice. Like, you could smell the redwoods and the eucalyptus. It was so nice. Eucalyptus, by the way, invasive in California. It was planted here by people who thought the wood would make good furniture. So they brought a bunch of eucalyptus over because it grows really fast, I think. Turns out eucalyptus is not what you want your furniture made out of, and I think it, like, exploded or something. It was pretty dramatic. Whatever actually happened, it was pretty dramatic, if I remember correctly. Anyways, and now we have a bunch of invasive eucalyptus trees. But redwoods are nice, too. Redwoods actually belong here. The nice redwoods. California redwoods. But it was so nice. We drove slowly, and every once in a while someone wanted to go really fast. Because I guess people like racing in that area. I don't know why. Some of the roads were like really skinny and you could fall off a cliff. But apparently some people like to go really fast in that area. So every once in a while Dad would pull over and let people go past him because he was driving kind of slowly. Because we wanted to enjoy the nature. But yeah, it was nice. It was really nice. It was a little bit cold, but it was nice.
Nikki, it looks like the star crystal tree stored a lot of starlit crystals.
Oh, I forgot about this monstrosity.
Take a look.
I love how many people think palm trees are native to SoCal, and they're absolutely not. I didn't know about that one. Alright, can I fix this now? Do you think Ham would be mad if I fixed this? Someone else give me a prompt for an outfit. We'll do that. We'll do that for this stream. How do we want Jack to dress today? How do we want to force Nikki to look today? I was thinking, while you guys think about that, I was thinking it would be cool to add TTS to my streams, like have you guys be able to like say stuff on stream, because I know a lot of streamers do that. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool? I have this little TV head character. What if you guys could talk through her, through my character Pixie? I think that'd be really cool. And then I wonder if I could set it up so that I wonder if I could set it up so that you could like show little YouTube videos through her screen too. SoCal geographically is a desert biome, right? Not the tropical paradise people envisioned it as. That's why it's a drought in drought 365 a year. Like Vox? I don't know who Vox is. Oh, is he that guy from Has Been Hotel? I guess. I guess like Vox, but more like the entirety of the early 2000s with object heads. He is not the first. She's much cuter, I will say. She's much cuter. Wait, do I have a drawing of her that I could like put on screen? Or the Pirate King from FLCL? I don't know what that is either. Sorry. I'm bad at references. Let me see if I have a pixie drawing. No, I think all of the drawings I have, because I'm turning her into a BJD, I think, Max Headroom? I don't know who Max Headroom is either. I have no idea. I don't know how he's related. I searched up Max Headroom. I don't know how he's related. FLCO. I guess it's similar. She's more like cute than these ones, these references you've given. Here, wait, do I wanna draw her? Let me look at what I have for references of her. See if I can find a good reference. Check out here saying others aren't cute. Well, because I feel like the ones that you've brought up are more like in the cool character design category, whereas Pixie's more in the cute character design category. Like Pokemon, you know? Some of them are cute and some of them are cool. It's just a difference. I don't really have a good... I don't have a lot of great references for her. You have these, which kind of like gives you an idea. But like, if I was gonna put her on stream, she'd probably be like a little chibi in the corner. She'd be like down here in like a little chibi form. But yeah. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. It's not what I said at all. In fact, I wasn't even talking about me. What if I made a pixie outfit? That'd be cute, right? Let's see if I can do that. Obviously, I can't have like a TV head in this game, but I could give some sort of like... I can see that being good in chibi. I made a little... Wait, let me take a picture of her. I 3D printed this weekend. I 3D printed a little a little like version of Pixie. Oh wait, I can't. I can take a picture with my iPad. It's fine. I can't use my phone because it's recording my face currently. But I printed a little BJD of her with my dad's 3D printer. Is Dan giving you a hard time? Dan is always giving me a hard time, but it's okay. It boosts engagement. Let me send this to myself. I don't think I'll get myself demonetized with this. Like, you weren't here yet, so somebody had to. Oh boy. Okay. Let me just do this. Look, see here? So I made this little like BJD version of Pixie. And 3D printer. This filament though is like super hot pink. You can't see it. It looks red on camera. It looks red on the stream. But it's like super duper hot pink. She's not this hot pink. She's more of like the pink of my hair. She's more like this pink, like the pink of my like brushes there. Or like my hair. You know, she's like a pastel-y pink. So this pink is not accurate, but that's kind of like what I would, obviously she'd have some clothes on. But that's kind of like what I was thinking, and I would put her in the corner of the stream, just like sitting there, and then you guys could like talk through her. Now it would have to stay appropriate. Or else I would take it away. But yeah. Alright, let's make a pixie outfit for Nikki here. Some kind of like boxy hairstyle, I guess, would work the best. Maybe this bob? Or maybe if like what would Pixie have if she was human? Probably some kind of pigtails. That's really cute. That's kind of close, actually. It's not quite the right color. But yeah, so I was thinking about maybe having TTS on stream. I've been thinking about it for a while, and I wasn't sure like how to do it because I don't really have a mascot. Most streamers, they use like a mascot, but maybe Pixie could be my mascot. That'd be cute. She could be my mascot, my sort of representation of chat, even though you guys are like all kinds of different toys in universe. I don't know. All right, Pixie. I mostly put her in like Lolita kind of style and like kawaii style. Sort of like a pastel decora kind of thing. Like she would totally wear something like this. Let's see. I think a shirt. Oh, we definitely need this. She would absolutely 100% wear this. She'd probably wear it in a different color because like pink skin, but it's fine. Having pink clothes. Am I real? Yeah. You're real. As real as any of us. Maybe I made you all up. Maybe it's all in my head. That's a thought. Let's see. What would Pixie wear? I put her in a lot of yellow. Because I think yellow complements pink well. Could do like a little bit of green. That's kind of cute. Do that. It's like a little bit like high tech. I really need to make that lore video because I feel like you guys are not getting it. You're not getting the vibe. It's supposed to be cute. You're all lost toys and you found your way here to my workshop and now we hang out together. It's like Toy Story, but nicer. Not scary. Wayward souls come to hang out with me. That's cute. Could do that. Listen, I'm just a little lonely doll, and you guys have come to hang out with me, and I don't know why you're here, but you are. And that's just how it is. I'm sorry, master. I'm not your master. What? I don't know where you get these ideas from. Truly. I don't know what I did to make you guys think this concept is creepy. It's supposed to be sweet. I keep thinking I come up with such cute ideas and that like everyone's gonna love it, and then you guys make it creepy, and I don't know why. That was kind of cute. I think she would wear something like that. Do I have any, like, I could do like pink socks to sort of represent her pink legs. Oh wait, where are those? I know what I need to do for socks. Where's the leg warmers? It's cute, but there's a creepy element to Lost Dolls. No, it's just sad. Lost Toys is sad. Living dolls have a history. Blame Annabelle. I'm not creepy. You guys think I'm creepy? You guys think I'm creepy? Man. I didn't choose to be a doll. I'm just here. My loose elastic. I just exist. I don't know why you guys think I'm creepy. You're not creepy. You said dolls are creepy. You said living dolls are creepy. That's what I am. I'm a living doll. I didn't choose to be a living doll. I'm just here, entertaining, doing my best. Stop trying to guilt trip me. I'm not trying to guilt trip anyone. I'm trying to understand where this concept that I'm creepy comes from. Or that, like, my cute workshop in the forest is creepy. I just live here. I can't find the leg warmers I was thinking of. I thought I had these like yellow leg warmers. And now I can't find them. We could do the pink ones, maybe. Where are the socks that I am thinking of? TBH, I didn't know you're a doll. Yeah. Yeah. Look at my hands. And my knees. I got doll knees. Maybe one day you can take my head up. I don't know. I thought it would be a fun toggle. There's a doll VTuber. Dan and I at least would be creepy dolls. No, you're a little plushy pig, and I don't know what Dan is. I think he's still a bear. Still don't know where these socks I was thinking of are. I swear I had some, like, yellow scrunchy socks. Like leg warmers. Maybe they're part of a shoe? Oh, maybe it's these ones I was thinking of. Maybe that's it. Can I be a creepy action figure? Nobody's a creepy anything. This is my cozy pastel escapism. I think he's a cappy. Oh no, he's still a bear. Something vintage still in box. That doesn't mean it's creepy. What? You guys aren't understanding my vision. Supposed to be cute. Like Toy Story. But maybe cuter than Toy Story, because Toy Story gets dark at sometimes. Where are these from? Oh, fishing outfit. No, we understand, we're just oh my god, we're trolls. Troll dolls. I can make little... Ooh, what if for the stream avatars I make little goblins? You guys could choose to be little goblins. That'd be cute. What if instead of... See, I'm a doll, but what if you guys were just goblins? That'd be cool. You guys could just be goblins. Because you kind of act like goblins. My dad and I have been listening to the new, My dad and I have been listening to the new, Legends and Lattes book. What is it? Bookshops and Bone Dust. What if we were goblins? I'm a doll, but you guys are goblins. Truer words never spoken. Here there be goblins. Alright, my little goblins. That's cute. That's something she would wear, I think. Here there be gerblins, indeed. Alright. Let's do some accessories. It'd be cool to sort of like allude to electricity somehow. You'd definitely have this. Wait, I want to switch to the... Where is it? I know what hair I want. This one. Yeah! And then... This is like too close. But I don't want that one. I want this. We could be plush goblins though, that's true. You guys could be sorry, I don't know what happened there. You guys could be plush goblins. That'd be cute. Actually. Yeah. That's good. And then need more pink. Like pink socks or something. Oh, I need to play Trash Goblin. I can't afford it right now, but I wanna play it at some point. I will get to it hopefully soon. I wish I had like some kind of tights that were like doll legs. That'd be really cool for this. Wait, I like this. Where it's like a little bit fluffy. That's cute. But maybe it doesn't go with this outfit. Backed it on Kickstarter. It's really fun. It's getting to be a bit of a slog. Oh no! Is it just like repetitive or? Because it feels like one of those games that I could like totally relax to. I wish I had some like star like I think they in Animal Crossing they call them doodly boppers or star boppers. I don't remember. If I had little like star things. The cleaning is getting repetitive. It seems like one of those games that it would be good for stream, because then I'm like talking. I think I got around day 30 or 40 and I got distracted. I think this might be the best for the vibe. And then I want the like electrical wire ones. Yeah. And then I know I want this one. Does that work? I think that's fine. Maybe it's better to not have a necklace. There's no urgency to the gameplay, but if you want the story progression, you have to grind a bit. Okay. It's definitely better as a mindless zone out game than as a I want to play through this to win game. Yeah, it feels like a zone out game to me. It feels like a game that I could play while chatting to you guys. And I love goblins so much. I love goblins a lot. Yeah, that's really cute though. Could do that. Could do that with the paws. It is kind of something she would wear. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. It's not the right color, but I can't dye it, but it's pretty perfect. So I'm gonna keep that. I don't know where I got that. What is this? No idea where I got that. I painted so many goblins when I was running D&D. I think I have around 80 different painted goblin minis. You're living my dream. You are currently living my dream. Let's do that. What if I give her a hammer? Bonk. Bonk hammer. I think maybe we switch to this one? Yeah. My dream is someone gives me $1 billion. That'd be nice. I share that dream, for sure. Oh, I just noticed this one has, like, button eyes. That's cute. Alright, let's go with this. It's a little bit chaotic, but I think it's as close as we're gonna get. Maybe the gloves are too much. I think yeah, I think these are too much. Maybe I can do what about the, like, I think I have some, like, pink arm warmers. Yeah. Those are cute. And then I think this is also a bit much. There we go. Okay. This is my pixie outfit attempted. Alright, now we gotta clear all the stuff. Clear all the dots. Clearing dots time. Time to clear dots. Time to clear all the dots. Pretty. Login gifts. Oh yeah, I keep meaning to log in and get those, but I also keep forgetting to do that. You aren't logged in? What? Who's... what? Hi, Kenj. What? What? I don't know what's happening. You said you forgot to log in for bonuses. Oh, yeah. Just, like, log into the game. Like, every day. Like, it's a daily thing. You have to log into the game to... I see. I don't know, man. I just I don't know. My phone's not charging again. Oh. Okay, it's charging now. So, because I gotta complete the trouble trio. Yeah, you guys are the goblins of chat, for sure. I'll make you guys little goblin stream avatars so you can represent your goblinness. One of these streams, maybe on Thursday, because I don't know what I'm doing for Thursdays. Well, Naomi is unavailable. Never mind, maybe I won't do that. Maybe you guys can just stay as cute little guys. And instead of giving you a cool, like, dress up game style avatar thing, maybe I will just not. and I will end stream forever, and I will never stream again. I'm just never gonna stream again. That's not true. I don't think I could stop myself.
I thought I'd have to hire a makeup artist to get you two sorted out, but turns out you've got quite the knack. Saved me a nice pile of Wanxiang coins.
Miss Jin, Tan Yo-Yo, we're here. It's only been a few days. How did you grow a mask too?
Oh, it's not just me. You two have to grow one too.
That's...
A little trick for hiding your face and breathing quieter.
Oh, a disguise. So that's how we'll sneak into the Jiehua Pavilion?
You didn't even get me.
Exactly. Secure
You didn't
your
even
mask,
get me.
then board the float headed for the Jiehua
You
Pavilion.
just said it. It
I've
wasn't
already
even a
arranged
setup.
with the
There was no
manager.
setup. It
Everyone
was
on that
just...
float is a dying chroma face.
You
Remember
just
to
said
keep your
it.
mouths shut
It's
tight.
just the same
Don't
as
let
all your
anyone
other
slip,
ones that
not
didn't
even
get
a
me.
word.
Thank you, Miss Jin. We'll be extra careful.
Alright. Yeah. The glasses are pretty good. Well, because I was trying to make my little TV head character.
You won't hear a peep out of me.
Like this. I was talking about making her into a TTS bot for you guys.
If there's only one opportunity for this, then it's possible Shi Gundong could be on the float as well.
Genj got himself.
It's unlikely. I've had people look. He's been with the Jiehua Bureau.
No matter. There aren't many places he can go. He can't hide forever. The problem is that we really don't know our way around the Jiehua Pavilion, and I don't think little Jade remembers much either. Do you have any ideas for us, Nikki?
I have an idea. Why don't we start by finding your friend Li Dong? He's been at the Jiehua Pavilion for ages. He must know it inside and out, and he's got experience with the chromatic guards. More importantly, he probably knows a lot of things we want to know, right?
Excellent. When the time comes, we'll split up and look for Li Dong.
That's the Nikki I know. Once we find Li Dong, that troublemaker Shi Gundong won't stand a chance.
He's honest and stubborn to the bone. But in the end, he's just like us. He's just another poor soul driven mad by centuries of the curse. I can only hope he doesn't do something unforgivable.
Don't worry, Miss Jin. Nikki's the best. And we've got Tan Yo-Yo, too. Together, there's no stopping us.
It's getting late. We'd better go catch the float to the Jiehua Pavilion. I'll save my speech for the victory banquet. Of course, if you're willing to pay overtime, I'll work even harder.
Alright, now I gotta put this mask on, I guess. Goodbye, outfit! We gotta build an outfit around this. Because that's what this game is, just making outfits. We have to keep mobile too, I think. And like, maybe we'll keep it kind of Chinese inspired. Oh, I thought this was clipping last time and like off her arms, but it's not. It just looks like that. Okay. It just moves weirdly with the way that the bones of this game work. Okay. Got it. Alright, what do we wanna wear? Because we kind of want to be like a little bit like a spy, right? Because we're going in being like sneaky. But it's also gotta like match this. That's cute. That looks really good. Okay. We'll go with this vibe. And then we need some kind of... We could do that. Keep the black. I think definitely pants. Because we want to be able to, like, move around, right? Okay, I think these ones are the best. I'll do these socks because they're kind of like black and blue, and you probably won't see them after I put the boots on. Let's see, what boots do I want? Could do these ones and bring the blue down. These are the ones we got with this area. Let's do these, I think. I don't know, it's not quite the vibe that I want. I don't know what the vibe I want is, but it's not that. I think I want these, maybe? I don't know. Maybe this is good, because, I don't know, maybe it's like... Yeah, that's good. And then... The sporty? Not necessarily, like a little bit sporty. That's good. Kind of like punky, spiky. It's kind of cool. The star. Some kind of choker would be cool, I think. Would fit the vibe. I think I liked this one with the star. And then we could do a simple choker kind of on top of that. We're not choking anyone. Where did you get that from? Why would we choke Mo? The disconnect between Jack's wholesomeness and chat's gremlin energy is peaked today. He's a chicken? What? I don't understand. And I fear to ask. I just really like this bag. Yeah, I am afraid to ask. That joke wasn't for Jack. If you guys get me demonetized, I'll never forgive you. I'm already not making any money. This cape, that's sick. Jack, stop reading chat. We're having a conversation. Okay, sorry. I won't read chat anymore. I won't read chat anymore. You guys have your conversation. Yeah, I like Nikki with pink hair though. Ooh, that's good. Yeah, let's go with that. All right, there's our outfit. I need to get up there.
Oh, you must be the friends Miss Jean mentioned. You've just grown your masks, yes? Don't worry, think of this as a vacation, a break from work. Relax and have fun, alright?
I've heard the Johua Pavilion has lots of fun spots. Do you have any recommendations, Icy?
Oh, there's something for everyone there. Those who love the company of others can come together to sing and dance, overflowing with laughter, tears, and words left unspoken. You can also meet up with old friends for tea, play a few rounds of mahjong, or try your luck with a treasure chest. You can spend these last days however you like.
But what if someone just wants to be alone?
We all need time to ourselves every so often. Try the northeast corner of the Johua Pavilion.
Northeast
there,
corner,
you'll find
okay.
the Wanxiang records of friends who've turned completely to stone. If you
Wow.
have something on your mind, there's something you wish to leave behind, that's the place to do it.
This float is so beautiful.
It's only natural to feel a lot when you board the floats. After all, we all know this isn't any normal... But I think, since we've finally been given a break after lifetimes of busyness, however we choose to spend this holiday will be worthwhile. So don't worry about how... After all, we all know the fate that awaits us at the end of all of this. If we can live these last few days with integrity...
Do you think we'll see Chroma?
You
when we
guys are
reach the
talking to
Johua
me. I
Pavilion?
can't read chat. I told you guys I'm not reading chat
That's
anymore.
rather unlikely. That voice... it carries an exhaustion that word... Come on, hop...
Nope, not reading chat. You'll have to find some other way to communicate with me.
Hold on tight. We're almost there.
My outfit looks great. Did that barrage even work? I didn't even... Hang on.
Like we planned. I'll try my luck wherever the most chroma faces are.
Right, and we'll do our best to look for Li Dong around here.
Oh.
So we can uncover the Johua Pavilion's biggest secrets.
There we go. K-Bonk was broken.
Why don't
Now
we
it
start our
and now it's
investigation
fixed.
along the western shore. Wait. Whoa. I didn't expect to see so many chroma faces without masks here.
Some seem to be caretakers. Others are just here to lighten the mood. I don't think we'll have to be in disguise the whole time. We'll just wear our masks when we're gathering information. Otherwise, we should be fine to walk around freely.
She has no... Sounds like rock and roll to me. Thank you for the bits. She wants sweet. Rock and roll is sweet? We're gonna do this later. I don't want to do the styling challenge now. We're on a mission. We're on a mission. No whim lanterns here. We gotta get we gotta get this the thing. Gosh, is it still not charging? Uh-oh. Come on, come on, come on. It's not evil, so I don't know. My phone has literally stopped charging. Ah! No! You need to charge. Okay, if I do that. Come on, come on. No, like actually guys, my phone is not charging. It's not charging! My phone's not charging. And if my phone doesn't charge, I have no face tracking. Okay. Well, my phone is completely refusing to charge now. So... yeah, like I got it for a second and now it's not charging. Let me try this other charger. No, it's doing the same thing. If I like press up on it, it works. But I have to like be holding it to charge. Okay, I have to text my dad. See ya, Ham. I'll figure it out. 1 second. PNG. Alright. Let me do this. Let me do this. Sources, we want this. All right. All right, here we go. There I am. Whatever works, right? I'm so sad. You like can't actually see my face anymore. All right, it's fine. It's just for now. It's just for now until I can get this fixed. I'm really not sure what to do about that because I don't see my dad for a while. Let me just... I mean, I could buy a MagSafe charger. It should work. You try a different cable? I did try a different cable. It's my phone. It's my phone has stopped. My phone has stopped charging, basically. I can press on the cable. If I press like up on the cable, then it kind of works. But I can't hold my phone while I'm streaming. So I need to get a MagSafe charger, but I don't have one right now. So this is what we're doing. Yay! It's fine. It's whatever. Maybe I'll make a PNG tuber plus PNG tuber. Or like a Vito tube. I think I have Vito tube. I don't know if I have PNG tuber plus. But yeah. I'll figure it out. Alright, let's go over here. How do I get... What? Oh, there. Here we go.
More friends are already. Sorry, little ones. I wanted to give each of you a ladle of hot soup to warm your stomachs, but it's all gone now.
This guy has such a... It's all gone now.
Oh, and their ingredients are running low. We'll have to ask Miss Jin for more next time.
Hey, this isn't that kind of soup where you drink one sip and forget all your memories, is it?
You give me too much credit. This is dumpling soup, my granddaughter's favorite. She always used to say, when hot soup fills your belly, your worries just float away.
This is just like the last thing I needed today. Yeah, no K-bonk. No bonking. No VTuber, no bonking.
I can't drink the soup, but hearing you talk about your granddaughter makes me feel warm inside, too.
Yeah. No more, no VTuber, no bonks.
What a sweetheart you are. I see you're new to the island. I know you might feel a bit out of place, but if you ever feel gloomy, you can always shout into the wind here or...
Thank you, Mr. Arrow. We're all in good spirits, actually. We were just planning to
Still a
meet up
nice
with some
stream.
old friends.
Bonker, no bonking. Yeah.
Lito, don't tell me you're that Tan Yo-Yo he's always talking about.
I'm Nikki. Nikki Momo. Lee Dong only ever talks about Tan Yo-Yo. He's completely forgotten about me.
And me, Little Jade.
Oh, he did mention you. Miss Nikki, Momo, and Little Jade plenty of times too. He sure has a lot of friends. But Nikki, try to stay positive. 4 days ago, Lee Dong began to turn to stone.
Oh no.
He came here for a bowl of hot soup, but I haven't seen him since. I'm afraid he's...
Did he...
He did mention that he had something very important and wanted to give it to Allie for safekeeping. He said that once he finished that, he could turn to stone without regret.
Everyone has technical difficulty. Temkiel. Difficulties from time to time. Yes.
That chroma face, though.
Really?
That guy's pretty slippery. He never stays in one place and sure loves those... Don't worry. No matter how vast the Johua Pavilion is, there will come a time when you've walked
This guy has such
every
a soothing
path,
voice.
and you'll have met all the friends you're bound to meet.
It's gonna put me to sleep.
If you turn to stone halfway through, don't panic. We've all been there. And if you have a nightmare, come sip my warm soup to calm yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Arrow. We'll try our luck somewhere else. No matter what happens, we'll make the most of this time.
We'll do our best to stay positive because we are definitely dying and are not just in a hospital to be a spy. Hello.
A mother can never let her child stand all alone. When I turn to stone, I'll still stand beside my little one. I won't say anything. Just being there will be enough.
Wait, your child...
Please do excuse me. I didn't mean to make things so depressing. It's just that the livelier things get, the more I wish
Making
I could
intentional
call my
typos like that must have been very difficult. Yeah.
When I think about how she's completely turned to stone, and that even if I hold her close, she'll never call me mother again.
God.
Well,
Welcome to depressing Nikki.
I start to feel hollow. Like
Here we
someone has
are.
stolen my heart away.
If Mia, Miss Jen, and Nightbloom all turned out like this, I think I'd be heartbroken too. But the Wanxiang power has nearly converged. Chroma will surely lift the curse on everyone now. When that time comes, everyone will return. You and your daughter
Back to
will
finite
reunite.
Nicole.
Thank you, sweetheart. But I've heard rumors that Chroma has fallen ill. I wonder if she's feeling better now.
No wonder everyone says Chroma only appears during the Banquet of Bliss.
Yes, even one as mighty as Chroma can't stop our extinction.
Wow.
She's protected us for so many years. But now she deserves to rest. She shouldn't be in so much pain. Listen to me, going on and on about the saddest. Actually, wait here for a bit.
Today, I'm afraid we don't have time.
Lead.
It's okay. Whatever the answer is, I can take it. Please, tell me.
I also like to pick things IRL to say wrong, and once they've been wronged, they can never get righted.
After my little girl completely turned to stone, they took her away to be placed somewhere safe. I think I saw your friend there yesterday.
Oh no.
What? Has Li Dong completely turned to stone too?
How could that be?
I'm probably the closest chroma face to being turned to stone in the Johua Pavilion. I know it all too well.
America's favorite breakfast spot, the Crackle Bearer.
I might be mistaken. But
That's
judging by
good.
his condition 4
I like
days
that.
ago, I fear you may be too late. My condolences. But, child, maybe you should ask around some more.
Thank you.
Alright. We gotta keep asking around, but I'm pretty sure Li Dong is dead. Trailer park versions of Lord of the Rings.
Come on! I don't have a coin to my name. I even had to pawn off the wardrobe that Jin gave me. What are you twitching for? Afraid to lose? You must be new around here, huh? Ooh, look at the bright-eyed new girl. Come here, dear. Play a few rounds with Granny Run. I promise you'll have a blast.
Oh, Mahjong? I've heard that the Chinese elders get crazy for Mahjong. I don't know if I want that.
Looking for someone, Granny Run. But
Let's all head down to the let's all head down to that Crackle Bearer. It's basically the same.
You're looking for someone, hmm? Go on, ask away. I never forget a face that...
his name's Li Dong. Do you...
Oh, him! My nemesis! Back when he carried that chromatic guard character token, he used to arrest me all the time. I went in and out of the Johua Bureau so often, it felt like home.
What a coincidence.
He hung around here for a while, but one day, out of nowhere, he slammed the table and said he'd made up his mind about something. I figured he needed to hide away after losing to me again and again. Needed space to hone his skills, but he never came back. Didn't even show up to the big inspection 7 days ago.
Oh no!
The big inspection. Did something happen here?
I heard they found something that went missing during the Banquet of Bliss. Even the attendants who left early were all dragged back for questioning. The whole scene was so... maybe.
That was not whistling.
got obsessed with Chroma and decided to steal one of her treasures. Just kidding.
This lady is nuts.
Right. Who would steal something then write a letter about it? Huh?
And still managed to not get caught. Sounds like quite a skilled thief, wouldn't you say? Granny Run, we'll go ask around about Li Dong's whereabouts. See you later.
Nikki, we've gathered enough leads. Let's go ask Tan Yo-Yo if there's been any progress.
Hey, buddy.
What's he thinking? Meaning with that kind of person in private?
What do you find out?
Nikki, how's it going on your end? I knew it. He can't take care of himself at all. His petrification's already pretty bad, but he still won't rest. The moment he arrived, he ran all over the Johua Pavilion, as if stealing Chroma's jade wasn't enough. Now he's even learned how to procure relics. Honestly, why couldn't he just wait for us a bit longer?
There's a belief in the Wanxiang realm. They say that once someone turns into stone, their consciousness gets trapped inside. They're unable to cry, unable to laugh, and that's how they pass the next few millennia. How terrifying that must be. Always fearful, always anxious. I think Li Dong must have had moments like that too. He must must have thought about so many things. But in the end, he still chose to give it his all, just one last time. Because
He trusts you as a friend, just like I trust Nikki. Time moves very slowly inside stone, but I'm sure he's not afraid. He knows you'll come to save him.
Moonshine.
Plus your friends.
It's not just me. Li Dong owes all three of you, too. Otherwise, I can't guarantee we'll be able to settle the score with him when he gets out.
I think Li Dong is going to be thrilled to see you again. He did so much work to get that relic. It must lead to something important.
It's probably tied to Chroma and the truth behind the curse. Since Shi Gongdong hasn't found any clues, we need to uncover Chroma's secrets before the Banquet of Bliss.
According to Mr. Arrow, Li Dong has entrusted it to someone named Allie. The problem is, it seems like Allie tends to move around a lot. Where could he be?
That's funny. I just picked up a bit of gossip while I was gathering intel. I heard that some Chroma faces have seen Allie around the small building east of the Wangyo Tower recently, and that's where he met Li Dong for their deal. Apparently, he's a real greedy one.
Interesting.
Somewhere discreet but convenient for a trade. Could it be somewhere near the small building east of the Wangyo Tower?
If it were me, I'd pick that spot behind the building. Let's try our luck there.
Is that him, Nikki? He's been sneaking around.
Oh, new customers! What can I do for you?
This guy's voice.
Or perhaps the complete snapshots of Chroma collection.
What?
Not to brag, but I have every rare and exotic item you can name within 100 miles. If you've got the coins, I've got the goods.
I thought you were in the relic custody business. I had no idea you had such a variety of products.
Wow! I didn't expect a young lady like you to know me that well. So, how can I help? Are you looking for bright or dark goods today?
We're here for the item that fool Li Dong entrusted to you.
Oh? Li Dong? Allow me to check my records. Oh, here it is. If you don't mind confirming this contract for me.
Contract. Uh-huh. Payable in full. Cured against all clothing in the wardrobe.
Thank you for keeping it intact.
Hold on! You youngsters are always in such a rush. There's a second page to that contract, you know.
A second page? What? Supplementary terms. Storage duration 1 day. Overdue. If not picked up on time, it'll be considered automatically renewed with subsequent renewal fees charged at 10,000 wonchong coins per day. Pickup fees, item preservation fee, mental distress compensation, currency inflation surcharge, all has to be paid in full at once. Total 120,000 wonchong coins?
Since you're new customers, I'll give you a discount. Let's say this many ones.
This guy's a scammer.
That's funny. The ink on the second page is still wet. What do you take us for? A bunch of fools without any street smarts? Admit it. You're a shameless crook.
Yeah.
What? Hey, I don't like your attitude. Shameless? If you're short on cash, just say so. I'm not completely heartless. That little creature of yours looks pretty lively.
Absolutely not. You cannot have Momo.
Don't you dare!
Try it and see what happens.
Fine, fine. There's no need to get violent. Two broke customers in one night. Just my luck.
We've got money, okay? We just need some time to earn it.
Well, you better hurry. I've got rules for payments. Money that doesn't last doesn't stay. Do you understand? Once midnight passes, 1 young coins lose their value. In my book, that makes them worthless.
Don't push your luck.
Hey, watch your mouth. You want Li Dong's stuff or not?
You...
He's right. He still has it. Time's running out. So,
Alright, fine. Whatever.
Allie, we accept your terms, but only on the condition that nothing happens to the item while we're away. I don't want to hear that you've gone and sold it to someone else, alright? I know merchants have a way of getting information to each other. You can ask Miss Jin from Baiqiao Hall if you want. Then you'll know just how easily I take care of S-lings.
Yeah.
Of course. I always say that honesty is the best policy. I should warn you if you take to... Just think of it as a little bonus for you two. I won't charge extra this time. All right,
Nikki
now,
said,
chop,
"Try
chop.
me, bitch."
Time for you to get to work.
This is really nuts. Looks like I'll need to hurry up and earn some Wangqiang coins.
How am I supposed to... It says find a way to earn 1 Chung coins. But it doesn't give me any kind of way to do that? Oh, I need, this. No? Alright, whatever. How do I earn 1 Chung coins? With, like, no guidance on where to go. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Whim lantern. Okay. There's a puzzle back there. I see it. The cube. Where the heck am I supposed to get 1 Chung coins? It just doesn't tell me. It doesn't tell me where to go in this place that I have never been before. So maybe I can talk to that old lady. Wait, where's the old lady playing mahjong? I bet that's why they made me talk to her earlier. It's because I can challenge her to mahjong and she'll give me money. Let's see, where was she? That's okay. That's the like depressing woman. Depressed woman. And then there was the old lady. Where? I don't read words I don't know how to pronounce. No? Can I challenge someone else? Oh, there's this guy's question mark. Hi, question mark. Can we talk? No? Okay. Okay. I don't know how to play mahjong. Alright, let's go. Okay. Number tiles include 1 to 9 of characters, 1 to 9 of dots, and 1 to 9 of sticks. Honor tiles include east, south, west, north, red, green, and white. I don't know what that means, but okay. Chow, Kong, and Kong. Chow means taking a discarded tile to combine with 2 tiles in your hand to form a sequence. You may only chow a tile discarded by the previous player. Chow means taking a discarded tile from the previous player and combine it with 2 tiles in your hand to form a sequence. That means taking another player's discarded tile and combining it with a pair in your hand to form a triplet. Kong means adding a new tile to an existing set of 3 identical tiles to form 4 of a kind. After declaring a Kong, you must draw 1 replacement tile from the tile wall. I'm gonna be so bad at this. My wife is trying to learn Mandarin, so I'm picking up tidbits. Oh, that's so cool! I've heard it's really hard to learn because of all the tones. Okay. Oh gosh. I don't know. I don't know how to play Mahjong. Oh boy. I'm gonna be so bad at this. Okay, I'm like not in the brain space to be learning games today. Okay, there are 3 types of Kongs. Melded Kong, Concealed Kong, and Added Kong. When another player discards a tile that matches a concealed triplet you already have and you declare Kong. Concealed Kong. When you draw 4 identical tiles yourself and declare Kong. When you already have revealed a Pung and then... Oh my gosh. Basic winning hand. X set of 3 of triplets plus Y sets of sequence. Pairs and then... Oh god. But the accents tell you what sound to make. I'd say the reading is easier than hearing the tonals. Interesting. Dan, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm gonna be completely honest. Alright, well... The Wish Wild tile can substitute for any tile of its corresponding suit when calculating a winning hand, but it cannot be used for Chow. Okay. A pattern will be randomly selected from the number tiles and honor tiles used in this round as lucky tiles. Each lucky tile adds 1 fan when winning. With the illusion tile and it randomly changes. Okay. What? Oh! Right! Yes! I understand now. His latest profile photo might actually be a step down. Oh no. I understand. Wait. Did it? Oh, it moved on without me. Oh god. What? I don't know how this works. Is this me discarding things? I don't understand. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. I don't know how to play this game.
Thumb.
I'm guessing.
六筒
6筒3筒
5条
I don't know what I'm doing.
4筒5筒
6筒
Okay.
八筒
9筒2筒
2条
Thumb.
四筒
9筒7筒
Okay. Apparently I won. I have no idea what happened. I don't know how I won that, but okay. He's sporting a full unibrow and a beard that looks like Hulk Hogan, stayed in a discreet hotel with Mr. Miyagi. That's an image. That's an image right there. Wow. Okay. I'm just gonna play the orange ones because that seems to be the strategy. They seem to be telling me how to play, maybe? Wait, there's an announcement here that I can't read. I hope the server isn't shutting down. Okay, whatever.
5条3条
Did I win? Okay. I have no idea how this is working, but it's fine. Okay. I guess I still have to make money? Okay. Hmm. There must be a catch. Okay. I can do that. I guess I can do this. Quest items. Okay. Okay, I guess. Maybe they're not on the map because I'm not tracking that quest. Yeah, got it. Okay, I don't have to. This is the closest one. I don't have to, like, actually find these places. I just have to... Hello. Okay, I'm gonna go hide behind this rock. Gotcha! Okay. I'll go beat this lady at Mahjong with the help of the game because I don't know how to play Mahjong. Okay. Let's go find the others. And then we'll win because the game tells me how to win. Oh, look, this cat's running with me. That's cute. Trying to let my phone charge. Let's see if I can figure out a way to make it charge without me holding it. Okay, if I rest it there, it can. Okay. How many suits of number tiles are there in casual Mahjong? 3? The wish tile. In regards to thrilling Mahjong, which of the following is not included in special rules? Dang it! Three. Wish. No. I'm guessing. I don't know how to play this game. Wish tile. Okay. Cool. I did it, I guess. I don't know. I'm doing my best. I like her cat hairstyle. She has like cat drill buns. Okay, styling challenge. Joy of the Big Four wins. Okay. Hi, Hot Dog Suit. I have this avatar because my phone doesn't charge anymore. My phone stopped charging. So yeah. I'm glad you like it. But I'm a little annoyed. Alright, we'll do... You know what? I'm just gonna recommend this outfit and it'll look ridiculous, but it's fine. Great, here we go. I don't feel like it. I'm sad. I'm sad about my phone not working properly. I'm sad. In general, I'm having a hard time lately. And I thought, I play Infinity Nikki is great. I'm gonna stream and it'll be my routine and everything will be fine. And then my phone stopped working. Anyways. Trying not to, like, be depressing. Let's play Mahjong. Let's play this game that I don't know how to play. I'm not paying attention to what she's saying, honestly. Alright, let's go beat these guys at Mahjong, even though I have no idea what I'm doing. Let's go. Let's go. Hi, cat. It's cat. It's kitty cat. It's meow 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 and a meow meow meow. It's cat. It's kitty cat. There's a thing. Hi, it's a little guy. It's a little guy. It's a gifty. Little gifty guy. Little gifty guy. Little gifty guy. Okay, I got stuff. Great. Let's go. Play this game. Oh man, they've called me out immediately. I don't fully understand the rules. A styling challenge? Okay. I thought we were playing Mahjong. Okay.
一藤
2条
有鸡4桶
之鸡
I'm just gonna follow.
3条
I win, I think. Yay! I did it! I think I won. Okay, round 2.
You've got a pair.
Oh no, they're not giving me the tutorial anymore!
Maybe play this one?
Okay, thanks, Momo.
7条
8条 Oh, mysterious mahjong powers. Grant me your favor
Don't let her
once
win, Nikki.
more.
Use a styling.
Okay, I'm gonna styling challenge. I'm gonna recommend it because I think it's funny. Look at this outfit. It's actually it kind of matches. Wow. Is it, Momo? Is it the exactly the kind of style a mahjong master should have? What's up, Blackvoot? My phone broke. Kinda. It doesn't like to charge anymore. And I'm playing mahjong even though I have no idea how to play mahjong. Momo, help me! Momo, tell me how to play mahjong.
Play this one?
Wu Tiao.
When I think of mahjong master, this is certainly what I think of. Oh, did they win? Oh shit. Round 3.
Qi Tiao.
Yo Tiao.
Child, tired from playing. Close your eyes.
Don't let her win,
Follow
Nikki.
my guide.
All right, cool mahjong player. Yep, that's what that looks like. Mahjong master, let's go. I'm so good at this.
I underestimated you.
Liu Tiao. Nikki's still coming out on top. Easy peasy.
Momo. Momo, help.
Maybe play this one? Jiu
Thanks,
Tiao.
Momo.
Yao Ji.
I have no idea how this works. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm sitting here and I'm just doing whatever. I'm doing whatever Momo wants me to do. This outfit's not actually that bad. It's not the worst. I still don't think it's what a mahjong
Still comes out on top. Easy peasy.
this one?
Jiu Tong.
Qi Tong.
四条，三筒。
Who?
Okay. Did I win? I think I won. I don't know how this works. Yay, I won! I think. Mahjong Master! Yay! Yay, Mahjong Master! Granny, like, I can't see a thing!
Let's go find Allie and finish this once and for all.
Okay, I think we've earned enough money to go get this item that has been left for us
Here.
after
should
playing
be enough.
Mahjong.
More than enough. Here you are. Just what you wanted. Pleasure doing business with
Yeah, lack of phone is the reason for Tiny Goblin Jack.
Oh.
Because I started the stream normally and then my phone decided it wasn't gonna charge.
Huh? Please, not my face.
Are we beating him up? I missed that.
This is a character token. But we can't read shadow script. What should we do?
That's Chroma's character token.
Yo, what the fuck?
See? It says right here. Chroma will be playing the role of the Geomancer.
The Geomancer? Wait. Could it be the same Geomancer who guarded the border of Linlong? The one who protected the people? and
Tiny
fought the
Goblin
dark
Jack's pretty
until the
good,
very
yeah.
end?
It's the only PNG tuber I have right now.
Her mission was to break
Because I didn't expect to
by
need
using
it.
all the Wanxiang power she could find within each facet of human life.
So that means Chroma has walked this world under the guise of the Geomancer. She's maintained order among the spirits through the token, while still having to face the same destiny herself? She trapped herself in her script, protecting everyone while having to endure the curse.
Whoa.
Wow. It sounds like a really awful way to live. If it weren't for the curse...
Momo's little face, he's so cute. He's such a cute little grumpy Momo. Oh.
The dark essence.
It hurts. I want the hand that carved the jade stone to pat my head again.
Oh.
Please teach me again. Please save everyone.
Where does it hurt, little Jade?
I'm fine. I was trying to sense Chroma's character token, and I could feel her sorrow.
Oh no.
Her whole body hurts. She was bitten by those dark purple
She was
things and
bitten
she's
by
covered in
Esselings?
wounds.
That
Oh,
sounds
God.
like dark essence. The rumors about the Jiuhua Pavilion were true after all. Chroma really is in danger.
Scion. No, I don't think you I don't think you did share that.
No wonder. We
Lil
may have
Gabo.
stopped Shigandang from smashing the moon, but the moon has still been flaring non-stop. Maybe Chrome...
Nikki?
Who's there?
Nikki, why are you here?
Yeah.
What? He wants to destroy Chroma just because some random book said to? That's absurd.
Yeah, do it.
Really
I wanna see.
dangerous. Exactly. That's why we're trying to stop him. Shigandang knows this place really well, and it looks like he's been hiding his track.
Maybe I can lure him out of hiding. He's come to the Jiuhua Pavilion. Maybe he'll want to make sure I'm safe. I know a place. The Aqua Pavilion. Sometimes, those of us whose petrification has grown worse are temporarily kept there. If he's familiar with the Jiuhua Pavilion, I'm sure he'll look for me there.
Then let's go now.
When my brother and I were struggling to survive, we were often so hungry we felt dizzy. He would always point at the moon to cheer me up. Mia, look! The moon's one big rice cake, and someone's already taken a bite. Later, I swore to the moon that I'd never let Shigandang go hungry again. Maybe we've just been together for too long. Maybe that's why he did something so bad.
I understand, Mia. No one can just watch the person they love so deeply fade away without feeling anything at all.
Pretty good art, Kenj.
This
Yeah. We've always hoped the moon would become full again. Always wished that the Wanxiang power could lift our curse. But it's been so long since we last quietly looked up at it.
Mia!
Don't worry, Nikki. That day will come. What a shame. The Wanxiang power falls short every time, no matter how many times we try. The moon still isn't whole. And it feels like it might never be again.
No! I watch the moon every day. It is slowly getting fuller. Just very slowly.
You said the Wanxiang power comes from life. Then why hasn't the moon become whole yet? It's
possible this perfection we seek was never meant for us? If my brother was right, that we were born of the curse, and maybe we can never truly be alive. We can't feel the 1,000 emotions the people of Linlong do. Can't live through the countless stories of the human world. Can't create the true Wanxiang.
That's not true. I've met so many chroma faces and they all live so earnestly. They laugh, they cry.
Welcome back to
they
Finite
care,
Nicole.
They hesitate. If that doesn't count as life, then I'm not sure what does.
Little Jade is right. Being born from the curse isn't the end of the world. Every life needs time to grow. A bird has to hatch if it wants to spread its wing.
A flower grows from a seed. Once upon a time, a bird dropped a tiny seed, and after some rain, the little seed sprouted into a tiny green shoot. I waited and waited, and then one day, it suddenly bloomed. The flower was huge, even shinier than Miss Jin's treasures.
You're just like that flower, Mia. A consciousness born from a seed or from stone needs time. Time to explore, to find its path, and to take shape. Maybe that is the true meaning of Wanxiang.
But even so, why haven't we been able to break the curse? Where's the answer we've been seeking?
Exactly. Why did Nightbloom lose her light after giving up her dreams of being a lantern maker to join the Jiuhua Bureau? Why did those who were dedicated to their scripts...
Everyone seems to live vibrant lives, yet they're still so full of regret and longing. Is this really the Wanxiang that springs from life? The power that's needed to break the curse? Maybe we're still missing one final step.
Someone's here.
After them!
Sorry, Mia. I hope you stop being frozen soon.
Nikki, look! Something's on the ground over there. Could it be something Shigandang dropped? Nikki! Shigandang? Huh? Is he dancing?
That dance doesn't look difficult.
This material is thinner than ordinary fabric and was specially... They only make a few bolts each season.
Maybe we have...
This potion bottle...
These side effects look pretty bad. Wait, the rental record has Shigandang's name.
Temporary transformation. Looks like he plans to use the face shifter to disguise himself and sneak into the Banquet of Bliss.
I just tabbed back into the stream and you look like you've been scrungled. Yeah, that's because my phone is no longer charging. My phone broke. Basically.
Oh, the Banquet of... He's been planning this for a while. He's not gonna miss this chance.
But if he uses the
Yeah,
face shifter,
Scrungly Jack.
how are we supposed to find him?
Scrungly Jack, cause my
Banquet of
phone
Bliss
broke.
Aside from them...
He has to be disguised as a...
So, the fabric we... That's it. The path...
Shigandang, we can't just barge in and say we're going to arrest someone.
Don't worry.
Wait, you may be good at tricks, but have you ever...
Scrungly Jack sounds like a cryptid and I'm here for it.
Hey, I may not be a
That's
classically
funny.
trained dancer, but I don't need to be. I'm a natural. Come on, Nikki. Help me out over here.
Shigandang knows this place really well. If he sees that we're onto him, he might have an escape route ready to go. We might not be able to cover everything. So that means the difficult job of scouting the banquet hall for the Banquet of Bliss needs to be done by our own highly capable, super reliable Tan Yo-Yo.
Now that's what I like to hear. All right then. I'll get the backup plan ready and come back to support.
Good. Then I'll sneak into the dance troupe and find...
Okay, let's go. Let's go blend in. Let's go blend in with the dancers.
Never
Everyone's either got wobbly legs or stiff backs. And then there are those who are always late with excuses.
Hello, I'm Nikki from the Baijiu Hall Help to Happy Squad. Oh, I meant to say that I just finished helping Arrow serve soup to the newly arrived Chroma Faces. I happened to hear all about your troubles on my way back to
His name is
So,
Tan
do you
Yo-Yo.
need a little help?
Whoa, quite the confidence you've got there. Every day, Nikki, do you...
Of course.
Are you ready to perform the yes?
Yeah, let's go. Alright, let's actually try. Let's actually try. Actually, I want to see... Actually pretty high. Because this is kind of like what the dancers are wearing. Like, they have the big poofy pants, right? And then... Scrunkly Jack wanders the woods, seeking a MagSafe charger. Civilians are advised to stay indoors if they suspect Scrunkly Jack may be in their area. 80 feet tall! I don't know about that. I don't know about 80 feet tall. Ooh, yeah, because it's devoted to the moon. Wait, if we do like an ocean kind of theme? Because the moon and the ocean are so, like, synonymous. Scrungly Jack is also a time traveler, using the powers of their time yo-yo to find their charger. And they steal muffins from your kitchens. Actually, okay, that last one might be true. That last one? Yep. That... You got me. You got me. I do in fact steal muffins from your kitchens. Leave them a chalky chip muffin on the windowsill to placate them. No, no chalky chip muffin. I don't like chalky chips. I want a blueberry muffin. You give me a blueberry muffin, please. Please and thank you. JK blueberry. Yay! Blueberry muffin. Let's go. Chalky chip will enrage them. I don't know about enrage. That seems intense. We need an acoustic guitar anthem singing the Ballad of Scruggly Jack. I think our resident bard is kind of busy though. Furious Jack perceiving Chippy of Chalk. I don't know about Furious. Furious is intense. They'll bite them up and thinking it's Blueberry, then rage to destroy the village. I don't think you guys have ever actually seen me enraged or like even like maybe a little bit annoyed. I think I may have gotten annoyed at one point on stream, but I don't know about enraged. Foaming at the mouth. Well, I've never seen Scrungly Jack IRL. Yeah, true. It's just a rumor, you know. It's I'm not sure they're real. Scrungly Jack may in fact be not real. Maybe Scrungly Jack does like chalky chip muffins. I don't know. They're not real. Scrunkly Jack kicked my dog. Scrunkly Jack is not real but can hurt you. Scrunkly Jack hunters have been trying to get video evidence for decades. Pretty outfit. I like this outfit. It's a good outfit. Scrunkly Jack killed my friend Jack. Scrunkly Jack kicking your dog might be the best. Ha! You can't bonk Scrunkly Jack. Scrunkly Jack broke my Minecraft Dinosaurs CD. Oh no! Coming up all over my body. Scrunkly Jack cannot be bonked.
With you leading the troop, we'll definitely.
Scrunkly Jack is immune to bonk.
And work on our teamwork.
See for yourself. Those good-for-nothings are hiding over in the pavilion, but the other kids are working really hard. They probably have.
Okay, I'll chat with them for a bit.
We're all doomed. Alright, where am I going? Oh, there's a book here. Cam really said if the world is ending, I want to slots one more time. I want to gamble.
Nikki, those two dancers over there, they're sneezing.
If it weren't for this blasted cold, I'd be up there performing as the lead dancer.
Are you okay? Do you need some rest?
No, I'm fine. I'll give my best dance performance for Chroma.
Scruggly Jack stole my mid-2000s industrial Christian rock music CD collection. Scruggly Jack borrowed my Avril Lavigne CD and never returned it.
The best dance.
You're new here, huh? You don't know my talent? Upstage right. That's the prime spot facing the most Chroma faces.
Scruggly Jack said I looked real good in my Jinko jeans and took me to the mall and joined the teenagers laughing at my stupid pants.
Why is this Chroma face sneezing so much?
Don't worry, Momo. You've been sneezing quite a...
I was practicing in the courtyard with everyone. I was so my success is thanks to the diligence of a genius. Those 4 words.
So when did a dancer as incredible as you start practicing?
I got up early. Then I practiced alone at the
These sneezes are the most fake sounding sneezes I've ever heard. Good morning, Moxie.
Banquet hall.
My phone broke.
Go on.
It don't want to charge anymore with the cable.
Later, when everyone woke up, we went.
You are
somewhere else
included
to
in
relax for a
smelly
little while.
people.
But we returned to the courtyard and practiced like we usually do. If I'd known, I would have practiced in the room with them.
Maybe we should check with their practice.
Nice try, Smelly Ham. I heard Scruggly Jack invented the boot scoot boogie.
But Nikki, if he's really Shigundong, he could become someone totally different if we turn our back.
You're right. Oh, were you the ones practicing in the courtyard just now?
Jack, last night an adorable orange cat tried to climb in my bedroom window. Oh my god! You should have nabbed him. Nope. I'm texting Dad about not having a charger that will work because we don't have. Nobody in this house has a wireless charger. I guarantee it.
maybe you're not used to everyone working so hard.
Oh, he had a collar.
Were rehearsing inside.
Did it say his name? Free cat though. Are we sure that wasn't Scrungly Jack?
What you're up to?
He was on the windowsill rubbing his head on the screen. Aww. Collars can be removed.
What? Nothing. I was work.
I already am the lead dancer. But if you tell me honestly what you did, I'd be more than happy to tell you how I became the lead.
Well...
Did his collar say his name? I need to know. He went around and stood in the bedroom window and Maeve was freaking her shit out. Maeve's like, who are you?
So, wanna come clean?
When Doug was an outdoor, he would often remove his collar.
You're such a good person. The thing is, I was planning to try the Chroma Brew at Yintia Terrace. You know how hard it is to get that tea, limited time, limited quantity. Only 500 cups are sold 1 hour before the Banquet of Bliss. I was basking in the moonlight.
Chroma Brew. Oh, I remember now. Miss Sue gave me the
Maeve was like, why would a man be here?
But you're saying it took you half an hour
You can
for
read
one
it,
cup of tea? You knew the banquet
And
could start at noon, but you
so
took
B
3
hates cats
times
that would
sipping
come
your
by.
drink. Sounds suspicious to me.
I can see why you're the lead dancer. More Chroma faces come to the Johua Pavilion.
He just wants to play. Aw. Super adorable orange tabby though. Aw. I love an orange. Honestly, if you leave your cat outdoors, that's my cat now. Thank you. I will take it. You don't get that cat. That cat is now mine. Like, if I had the capacity to adopt all of the outdoor cats I see, I would.
You lied again.
I would just steal them.
You saw right through him, Nikki.
Better safe than sorry. I'll ask a few more questions and try to catch him off guard.
Doug can't be an outdoor cat anymore. He's too dumb. Doug should have never been an outdoor cat in the first place. He screams when he's outside. That's hilarious.
Oh, really? You love being on stage more than anything else, but you still chose to rush and grab tea before the Banquet of Bliss, missing your only chance to practice with everyone. How can we know you're really telling the truth?
By Chroma. See? The exclusive timestamp for Chroma Brew. Buy 10, get 1 free. I'm up to 5.
Coyotes around here, not to mention the cars. Yeah. When we first got him, we lived on Prince Edward Island next to a lovely pond where there were a bajillion cats and no predators exist on the island. Okay. I'll accept that answer. I will accept that answer.
Oh, I remember now. Mia mentioned this to me. She hasn't been feeling very well, so she's been waiting to drink that tea to make her feel a little better.
A true friend of the lead dancer, and a tea lover too. If she misses out this time, I can get her one next time. All right, your turn, Miss Lead Dancer.
Huh. Well, so you really do love to dance. Next time you line up for tea, make sure to wear an extra layer. It's cold out there. I'll let you be. Break a leg.
Ta-da! We did it. I wasn't paying attention to what he was saying, like, at all. I had a difficult time not doing that with an adorable black cat one of the neighbors left outside. But most people out here surprisingly do chip their cats, so it's my luck that I would take it to the vet and wind up with an angry neighbor trying to beat my door down with a banjo while sipping moonshine. Well...
As the new lead dancer, I have to check on every member before the performance. Where did you go just now? How did you get so sick?
No comment.
The banquet's about to start. Taigo cares a lot about this performance. If there's anything you need help with, or any trouble you're having...
My mom's cat is outdoors against our will, otherwise he pees on everything while staring at you. What a little menace! Are you sure that cat isn't Scrungly Jack? Actually, I don't want that on my record. I don't know. You guys are the one making shit up. You once peed on the bed I was sleeping in. Oh no.
Mind your own business and focus on being the lead dancer, alright? She just...
It's fine, Momo. If she wants to... I've met lots of dancers just like you. The kind who think they can coast on by. That a lackluster performance and an average review is good enough for them. But in my opinion, raw talent isn't enough. The only way you can really last in a dance troupe is by staying humble and being sincere. Don't you agree?
You're even more unreasonable than those old chromatic guards. Fine, I'll tell you.
Scrungly Jack is a
I
shapeshifter.
went to Hall to get some soup from Arrows. After that, I watched one of the shows. It was windy there, and I caught a cold. Happy now?
If I remember correctly, Mr. Arrow ran up. I don't care if you're a human or a chroma face.
All right, I get it. I just picked up a bowl of soup at sight. After that, I went to the wharf to enjoy the view.
Heard Scrungly Jack can stand up on its hind legs like a chinchilla and accurately aim bursts of... Oh god.
Of the 2 new carriages arriving.
I also went to Taiyue Hall.
Fine.
So There's something you said you saw the floats, but then you said you actually heard It almost sounds...
No.
All right. I'll let you off the hook this time. And once we're done, I still need to escort Mia to the depths of the Jiuhua Pavilion.
Wait, what did you... Who's that?
Shigandong, your true colors are showing.
I think it's only under extreme stress, like when a mother lifts a car or whatever.
Watch out.
Stop running!
Shame that Scrungly Jack has no natural predators. Oh wow, Nikki looks really cute. Most biological human males. I've seen toilets where men have been. Why do men? Why do men? Just in general. This is a really pretty outfit. This is really pretty.
Can't I stop?
Uh-oh. Whoops. Oh, my pretty outfit.
Stone statues. The sun. This is...
It's the place we saw when we first arrived in the Wunshang realm.
Maybe this is where Chroma lives.
This game be like, look how pretty you could be if you pay.
Where is Chroma?
Yeah. True.
Little Jade.
Nikki, she looks corrupted.
Let's go.
There's something strange about this place. Quick, let's follow her and get little Jade back.
Nikki, I think she ran toward those round ornaments nearby. Let's go check.
Oh. Okay. I have no idea what you guys are on about. I have no idea what's happening. I'm trying to pay attention, but like... Well, maybe it does need to be dark. Yes. Yes, Ham. I love when there's art. Yeah, I agree. I'm just like trying to piece everything together. I think this is like the most complicated story that they've had so far. This is the one that like has baffled me the most. Where I'm like usually I'm like, oh yeah, I understand what's going on here. But this one I have no idea. Like I have no idea what the ending is. You know, it would be an amazing passive-aggressive way to shame more people into basic public hygiene. Some sort of device that called you out for leaving public bathroom without washing your hands. Because if you just sit and listen in a men's room, it's less than 1 out of 5 guys who even pretend to wash their hands at all. I don't know the song reference or what's happening in the game. Carpenters build things. Well, are we getting into boss fight territory?
Nikki, little Jade's been devoured.
It's Chroma. I think she's lost to corruption.
I think it's boss fight time.
Part of her from the start. That's why she was affected.
A worker of mine one. Oh god. A worker of mine saw one of the members of the kitchen staff leaving the bathroom stall and about to saunter back to work without washing her hands. And my coworker was like, dude, aren't you forgetting something? I was saying that I woke up with that song in my head. It was so weird. I was witnessing a BB version here in chat. Oh my god. This is getting deep. I guess, you know, it is Finite Nicole Day, so I can't save them all.
artisan were to pick it up, it could only accept whatever form someone else carved into it.
I'm so confused coming into this Nikki plot this late.
Wielded the chisel itself?
Honestly, I'm confused
What
too.
happened then?
I don't know what the hap is fucking, but it's quite interesting.
It was able to carve itself.
There's stone statues that were turned into people,
Beautiful.
and then they
That is choice.
can only be
Clumsily,
people
ineptly, even painfully, carving
when
yourself
it's
into something
nighttime.
unique.
And then if they build enough one shang power,
For myself before. The moments I remember,
then they
and
become real
moments I
people,
don't.
and the moon becomes full.
I chose this journey.
I think.
These adventures. I chose to save my friends. Even when I didn't know where to go, I was determined to leave my mark. I chose this life of mine.
So, the reason I can't gather enough Wanxiang power is that I trapped everyone in my script and deprived them of choice?
They've never lived their own lives according to their will. The same goes for you, Chroma. Have you given it any thought? What do you want to do?
Nikki, I think...
Come on, Momo. Little Jade. Yay! This outfit's so freaking cool. I really hope that we get something like this for free to play. Or at least again, because like the fact that I can turn into a centaur is the coolest freaking thing. Antlers would be nice. Yeah, the centaur farm is the coolest.
Would wipe everyone out. I feared that the dark might be wrecked. I feared that I had failed to follow.
He's a little deer centaur. It's so cute.
I let the dark essence seep in. And in the end, I still couldn't do it. I've strayed too far from life itself. I never even made my own choices. How could I ever be able to guide someone else?
No, you did make a choice. When you shattered yourself and became the island, you left behind little Jade.
It's so pretty. Wow.
Little Jade. Now you're free to choose all over again. Do you want to resculpt yourself?
I understand now. Thank you.
Yeah, nice color palette here. It's beautiful.
I think I will resculpt myself. And for all chroma faces, they too can do the same.
山水间雨一红，细着雨之中。敬天宫前雕万颗，巧仙伴龙。
The token, it's empty?
The sun is rising.
武陵山远河， 有困烦喽。人间开花，梦也开花。
Pretty. Yay! We saved the world again!
So, the light that lifted our petrification, and this rising sun, those were all brought forth by that girl you call Nikki? She saved me?
She faced Chroma all on her own. I wonder how she's doing now.
Deer was like, I'm gonna be a little baby guy instead.
Don't worry, Nikki's very skilled. She should be able to handle herself. And even if something were to happen, I know I'd find a way to help her.
You don't need to help me, I'm right here.
Disappointed to know that you won't have a chance to show off this time.
Speak of the Nikki and she shall appear. I'm guessing things have been resolved?
Chroma has merged with little Jade. She needs time to regrow and reshape herself, so we may not be able to talk to her for a little while. But she's also given all the Chroma faces their right to self-determination back. From now on, there will be no more character tokens.
Yay! No more character tokens! They saved the world with the power of pop-in game assets.
You no longer have to live according to someone else's script. You can choose your own paths and live lives that truly belong to you.
When we were sent to the Johua Pavilion, I thought we'd never see another dawn. I never imagined that any of this would ever happen. Nikki, you've brought us hope.
I agree. I thought I'd be trapped as a stone statue forever, unable to move or speak. Nikki, you've somehow broken the curse and let the sunlight back in. Thank you! Nikki, in the end, the only thing I got right was coming to you for help. It turns out that you could have fixed all of this on your own, and all I did was mess things up. As for everything else, I know I was wrong. I regret it, but I don't know how to make things right. How can I ever...
I can't fix everything all on my own. Everyone on the island is going to need help, and a lot of guidance to heal from everything that's happened.
I understand now. Even without character tokens, I was once a chromatic guard. I should spread the news and help keep order.
Wonderful. I'm sure they'd also like to hear about how you've carved yourself a new path, all on your own.
Everything Shigandang did, he did for me. If there's redemption to be sought, it must include me too. I'll go with you.
This has been quite the journey. But with you here, I feel ready to face anything life throws my way.
Alright, what's your bets on how quickly it takes people to start shipping them?
Thanks to you, Nikki, we've eliminated one of the Dark Elimination Division's greatest
I'm
threats.
sure they already
On behalf
have.
of HQ, I officially thank you.
That reminds me, I have romance anime to watch today. I didn't watch it this
Everyone's
weekend.
so serious all of a sudden.
I would have to be aware of online discourse about Nikki. Well, I think most people ship Nikki with the paper cranes guy, but he hasn't shown up for a while.
Still, now that they're gone, I honestly don't know what to do next.
Having the freedom to choose your own life for the first time. Seeing real sunlight for the first time. Isn't that a kind of rebirth? If you're not sure what to do yet, then how about we go back to the Hot Pot house? We'll call Nightbloom and the others, and celebrate over a nice meal.
Great idea. I think we all deserve a break after working so hard. Leave the organizing
Oh,
to me.
good girl,
All our hero
Maeve.
needs to do is show up.
Good girl. With taking her eye goop. Enter the land of eternal daylight. Ah, okay, here. Got it. Whee! That's a cool transition. That's pretty sick transition, actually. Momo, get off the table.
Our great hero has arrived. Say a few words. Consider it the opening speech for tonight's celebration.
Yeah, Nikki saved the Wanxiang realm. She's got to say something. Thank you all for your kindness, but truly, I believe it's all of you who have the most honest words to speak tonight. After being freed from your curse, I want to hear from everyone. It's too bad little Jade can't speak right now. But
she'll get better.
I'm sure she's looking forward to seeing what everyone will do now that the sun has risen again.
Ooh, me first! I'm not sure what I'll do just yet, but whatever it is, it's gotta be better than being a big lump of stone. I want to stay with my sister forever. And then... maybe I'll become a stonemason.
A stonemason? That's great! You can open a workshop, I'll open a little restaurant, and every day I'll try a new recipe. I'll be the best chef in the Wanxiang realm.
Me next!
Nice.
I'm going to cherish my freedom and make lots of lanterns.
Yeah!
I'll light up every night with my creations.
Me? Oh. I'll pass.
Hey, we all agreed to take turns. Too late to back out now.
Okay. I'm hoping for more of the same, I guess. With fewer hassles.
Hot pot.
No
I know, I want hot pot now. Oh no! One of my little girls just groomed her bed right over the edge of my bed and hit the ground with the soft bed landing on top of her. And she's looking at me so pathetically like I'm not supposed to laugh after she gets so upset with me for moving it back from the edge whenever I see it. She's like, this is your fault.
Great adorable Momo. I'm proud to be half of the unbeatable duo that is Nikki and Momo. May our bond last forever.
Yeah.
I hope that from this day onward, the sun will always rise, and that all of us can walk whatever path we choose. Here's to freedom, to life, to a new day, and to our new selves. Cheers!
Yay!
Quick, eat up!
The pot will run dry if we don't eat fast.
Not gonna happen.
I want hot pot. It was so... I wanted to suggest hot pot this last weekend for my dad, but it was like warm. But like here it's cold and now I want hot pot again.
I've got a hunch. Today is a perfect day to relax and take in the sights.
Scenic views are...
Alright, we did it! Yay! We did it! Alright, let's see.
Recharging for more
Let me look how many... Okay, yeah. We got a lot of stuff here. But because I'm not really super into any of these... Ooh, we have a 10 pull we can do here. But I'm not really super into any of these, like, in particular, so I'm not gonna draw any of them. We'll do a 10. We'll do a 10 here. So for next season, I might get the full outfit next season. Ooh, speaking of full outfits, you've never had hot pot, Kenj? Oh, that's wild. It's so good and it's so easy. Got a heart shine. Outfit 2. I don't have this one yet, so we're gonna do this one. And then we'll go through outfit 2s. And then if I have a heart shine, that means I can evolve something. I get this one. It's just this one that I can evolve. Look how pretty this one is! That hair! Oh my goodness, that hair! And it's pink? Yes. Good. I love Japanese hot pot. Chinese hot pot is often very spicy. But both are delicious, especially if you aren't a spice wuss like me. I too am a spice wuss, so I will stick with Japanese hot pot. But I don't know. Maybe one day I will try it. You like spice? You a little spicy? Lore compendium. Creatures. Some new creatures. Got some new... Got some new outfits. Yeah, we are gonna... What's the... Ooh, that's pretty. Other ones. Alright. We did it! I don't think anything else is, like, time sensitive. So I'm not gonna worry about it too much. No, I don't want my title to be Mahjong Master. But we'll just run around. Nikki saves the Wanxiang realm! Ah. Nikki saves the Wanxiang realm. Scripted performance menu. That's cool. Back then, I mean, earlier today. That's cool. Part of my problem is that even the paltry level of spice my oversensitive mouth can handle will fuck up my tummy. Yeah. Yeah. My mouth stops me from enjoying spice because I don't like when I can't taste my food, and when it gets to be too spicy you can't taste anything. We've unlocked all of the... Should have unlocked basically everything now, right? Alright, we'll run around for a little while. Until it is time for us to go, and we'll do... if it's good spicy, you can still taste it when it's super hot. But a lot of high spice isn't good quality. It's just chemically induced spice, which is unfortunate. That is unfortunate. I have never had a spice where I can, like, still taste it. But I'm also a weak little baby, so... I'm just getting into all sorts of quests. Maybe we'll do, I still don't know what I can use this, let's see, Flavor Frenzy, Hot Pot House, the Float, Mahjong. There's a lot of Mahjong. What do I use the... What do I use these for? The lanterns? I have no idea. Let me look it up. Yeah, market. Token Hall? Maybe? Ah, got it. I found it. Something cooked with true fresh Carolina Reapers will be pretty spicy, but the Reaper has an actual flavor and has, if it hasn't been totally dried out, and the rest of the food itself they're putting into that should have strong flavor enough to stand the contrast to that. What can I get? I can get stuff. Medium prism. Oh, I can get these, which is good. Furniture recipes. Definitely want those. Shiny bubbles, shining particles, radiant prism. Probably want that. Luminous prism. These get me dyes. So that's really good. What else can we get? You can get probably one more of those threads of purity. What about these? Ooh, these are really good actually. Need to find more of those because these give me resonant crystals. All right, what'd I get? Oh, that's cute. Cute little fuzzy socks. I gotta go follow this guy, I guess, for this quest. Boing. Okay. Meow. We'll press charges. Alright. Cool. Alright. It was a dog one sound record, but for some reason it spoke cat. I don't know. I won't pretend to understand things. There's a thing. There's a whim lantern. Oh yeah, this is the one that I couldn't actually get earlier. Hi, Night Bloom. I understand nothing. I have taken my meds, thank you. Has everyone taken your meds? You hadn't. Good. Take your meds. Ham. You said that redeem is there for you. Take your meds. Cool. Yay! Yeah, everyone make sure to take your meds. Alright, let's go take this test or whatever. When Momo first introduced the characters you each drew, he said, I am a cat. What meaning and emotion lie behind those words? Meow? Scrungly Jack wants you medicated. Exactly. Hmm. Wow, that's insane. Nikki is really good at that. Okay. Yay! I win! I think. I don't know. I'm hungry. I went downstairs and to get breakfast and I couldn't find anything that I wanted. And I ate a granola bar for breakfast again. It's got grains. Yeah, it's got grains. Fleck is live now. Okay. Yeah, but they're still shaving. Okay. Well, we'll go for a few more minutes. I'm so tired. I just EP. Alright, are they ready? Alright. I'm tired, I'm hungry, and I'm sad. We're gonna head on over and raid Blankavoot. It's time to switch babysitters. You guys ready? I don't know what they're doing today. Is it a Pokemon Day? Or what? It's an art day, apparently. Working on commissions. Well, that sounds nice and chill. Go enjoy your candy. I will see you guys on Wednesday for Pokemon with Penny. Your commission? Nice. Alright. I'll see you on Wednesday. Hopefully, I've fixed my problem by then. Bye-bye!